All right, guys. Let me know when you can see me. All right. We should be good to go in a minute. Let me know when you see me. Yeah. Smiley faces. Everyone's happy. Good times and good friends and good vibes. You know? Finally, doing the Muzai Moratorium album review that I've been meaning to do for a little while. It feels good to get it sorted, you know? Sup? Yeah, we'll give it a minute just to let people come in if they want to, and then we'll get started. How is your day going? Good job. Grab some food, get some popcorn. Just chill, man. Just vibe. It's going to be a nice chill session today. I'm going to be reviewing it, as professionally as I can. But at the same time, I'll be making sure that we chat with people and stuff like that. Got some new buttons, as you can see there. Yeah, I think I might have goofed the buttons there for a minute, but that's okay. We're in intro time anyways. It pays to not get too ahead of yourself, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm going to do the big sort of intro in a moment, and then we'll get into it. Because we're going to be reviewing all 11 of these tracks today. It's quite a wild. There's a lot of stuff to do here. I hope that if you're watching this after live stream, sup shredders. Welcome to this live stream. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, remember to like and subscribe. Okay, pin message. Sup, Andres? How you doing? Yeah. Hopefully you hi Andres. I'll go hi Andres. Yeah. So this is gonna. Let's just do the intro, shall we? We'll just do the intro. Sup shredders. My name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome. Lots of people go home to see their family today during Lunar New Year. We'll get to that in a moment. It's okay if people are seeing their family, obviously. It's the important day of the year, But yeah, sup shooters, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to this SP live streams today. We're going to be reviewing an album from Sheena Ringo titled Muzai Moratorium. And if we switch over to here, now that we can see chat on the screen, I can talk to people now. Just before I go talk to Dwoo, we've got 11 tracks. We're going to be listening through each of those today. So, if there's other musicians or artists or bands that you'd like me to review, let me know. I would quite like to do Fuji Kaze for my next one of these live album reviews. We will probably be doing that in February, but I don't want to commit until I know I can do that. Yeah, but lots of people go home to see their family today during Lunar New Year. Well, happy Lunar New Year to everyone watching this. Hopefully you're having a fantastic time with your friends and family, or if you're watching this afterwards, hopefully you had a fantastic time with your friends and family. We're here in New Zealand. We're kind of past that point where we're doing the New Year's stuff. People are back into work and everything like that. But I know it's different for other parts of the world, and that's awesome. With that out of the way, hopefully everyone's got a bag of popcorn, got their drinks and stuff. We are going to be listening through each of these 11 tracks I've said like 5 times, starting with the first track, which is I Understand It. What is the first track? Tadashi Machi, which is hang on, I'm having some issues. The Right City. So we're going to be looking through this first track. Going to listen through each of these tracks from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. And I'll also be putting the lyrics on so that you guys can like vibe along to those if you want to. So yeah, but it will just, we're gonna enjoy that. Now let's go. Let's start. Put the lyrics on. For anyone, crazy vocal tone there off the bat. Crazy vocal tone off the bat. It's got a kind of unusual distortion to it that works really well alongside the kind of grungy aesthetic of the rest of the instruments. Correct City. Thank you. Cheers, man. Nice free flowing sort of response there. I enjoy the fact that we didn't overdo that verse there. We had our welcome and then we just kind of continued. It was great. Lovely and colorful with these guitar lines on the left side. So you can sing along if you know the lyrics. Like, go for gold, dude. I mean, I can't read this because this is in Japanese. I don't speak Japanese fluently, but yeah. That alarm sound on the right side. Sup, Blue Dinner Box? How you doing? The alarm side on the side is quite sharp, but at the same time, I think it's an interesting texture, and I'm kind of liking the fact that it exists within this piece. I love the variety we have in the percussion, as well as those guitar tones that are utterly scintillating. The lead lines there, along with the organs. There's so many different instruments within this arrangement, and they seem to sync together really well. Going to that minor tone there is a smart move on behalf of their songwriter here, because it's so grandiose with those brighter lead elements. Coming down for the sadness there, it's just such a contrast. And having those distorted over the vocals are wonderful as well. Smart move. Okay, clear, distinct verse, chorus, bridge sections. Easy to follow along to. Fantastic bass response there. Like, the mixing of this album is incredibly well done. I haven't always felt that way about songs I've listened to from Sheena Ringo, but you know, still, it's never a bad time, really. She's more conservative with the vocal fry, I think, this earlier on in her career. I don't think there's as much of that going on. But I love the range of different tonal diversities. The range of tonal diversity. I suppose that'd be true from the singer, what Sheena Ringo is doing with her voice there. We're never just settling for one way of expressing herself. She goes in between. I think that's part of what makes her so interesting to listen to. Again, I think you'd have more of a appreciation for what she's singing if you understood language natively, which obviously is an obvious thing, but yeah. Again, but going up that octave there, we had a pitch shift or something like that. Wow, 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 wow. You know, that's just that repeat of that chorus there. It's so effective there. You don't expect it to go up, but it's just a nice way of finalizing that outro, making you feel like you're out on your way. That was a beautiful part there, that end there, where she kind of filtered herself out. I think that sounded gorgeous. You know, that lovely legato passage with the vibrato in the end. Clearly, someone who's competent in a singer has a vocal technique down, but it also shows a bit of vulnerability there with the softness and sweetness of it. So much going on from a compositional perspective. The composition, and I think in this music, is the strength, one of the strengths in it, for sure. But that was the first track there, Correct City from AM here. We've got Daewoo saying that all tracks are written by Ringo Shiina and arranged by Seiji Kameda, and Kameda plays bass in Tokyo Incidents Later. See, that's good to know. I mean, I think that you've got a powerhouse duo here. I think if you've got the singing well and you've got the composition well, it's not like these guys weren't up to the cut for like a label at that point. The performances are exquisite. I think the studio production sometimes comes after those two. Sometimes people prioritize how it sounds from that studio perspective before the quality of the songwriting itself. But I can tell that regardless of how they would have performed this track, it still would have been an absolute banger. So hats off on that debut track. Very, very, very compelling. And I'm just going to like double check how that sounds in my phone just because I want to make sure that the volume is correct. I did actually, you know, songwriting itself, but I can tell they're quite sharp, but at the same songwriter here, because it's so grandiose with those brighter lead elements coming down for the set. Yeah, you can hear stuff. We'll put it. I'm tempted to put it up to 7 just because I think that does sound a little bit better on the volume side of things. I'm not sure why it's different when we live stream than otherwise. Maybe it's the codec, but I think we're going to keep it on 7 for now, audio wise. I'll check it later on. Yeah. We'll keep it like that. We'll keep that we'll keep the volume the way it is at 7. That's what I've had for previous live streams. But anyways, lyric wise, I took off that day even though you in the city were right for me. I shot you a displeased smile after a long silence. Sup, Shin Yida. Welcome to the live stream. It's good to have you here, dude. Hopefully work is going well for you. We do have subtitles enabled for this live stream, so that should be fine. Then you rubbed my forehead against the cold asphalt and blamed me for disappointing you. Wow, that's terrible. This sounds like a horrific situation. How did it feel just now to kiss me a year later with the same this you used to tell me goodbye? Wow, that's brutal, dude. I showed you how to cry. I ignored that too. You say you have plenty of cute girls to choose from. So why did you not have any at your side? Okay, so I think that this track is basically about Sheena Ringo talking about how she feels like she was screwed over by someone who's just taking advantage of her. And it sounds like a really terrible time, to be honest. There's no Momiji Beach or you or Moromi River here. Yeah. Yeah, I just think this is about a relationship or a love interest that's just gone terribly wrong, and it's just become very toxic. That's my interpretation of the track. I think from the perspective of like someone, you know, like trying to compare it to the music, I think that it was very kind of, it was kind of pretty because you had someone where there was almost like a glorious tone to some of those natures, as if it was like she was celebrating the fact that she didn't want to have or didn't need to have anything to do with that person anymore, despite the pain she'd gone through. Like she's coming out of it on top. And I like that combination of elements there. But yeah, we've got the Queen of Kabuki Chao, track number 2. Hopefully this will be better, but I'm not going to turn it up more than this. Again, like the compression on those drums, I quite like it. I think that, you know, it sounds kind of charming to have the tightness of those elements there. It does sound like some of the rock I heard from the mid-90s, like that kind of Blur kind of song too kind of feel. Okay, I really enjoy the variety there with the drums and the bass, as well as the guitar parts with the arpeggios they're playing. It's nice and pleasant to listen along to, fairly easy to follow melody from the vocalist. The kind of shuffle that we've got on the drums now is a nice contrast to what we had earlier. I mean, this is more conservative from her. Was this meant to be like a was this meant to be a single? These kind of jazzy arpeggios that they have, or jazzy chords they have with these progressions here, the extensions there with those sevenths and potentially more than that. It is smooth, D-Woo. Absolutely, it is quite smooth. Ah, now that's a fun concept. Having the whistling here is not an element we've had before. It kind of mirrors what we've had with the vocal melodies, so it has a connection there. It's very smart composition here. Great difference in the lead melody. Have we got some clapping as well going on? Because that's a nice change to pace there. It's nice to have a replacement for that snare there. Or maybe we have the snare as well as that. That was a wonderful note in our head voice there. And it's just that little extra note change, that change there, that can make or break a situation like that. Because when we have musicians that are thoroughly, um, when we have musicians here who are thoroughly comfortable with the hook line they've created, it can like, you know, it can make or break a hook depending on how what you do to alleviate the continuity of that. But yeah, they smashed it. Queen of Kabukicho, is that correct, Blue Dinner Box, or is it something else? Because I wouldn't know. I'm just going by what it's telling me. I'm glad that you like the clapping and whistling, Diwu. That's awesome. I do as well. I think it's fun. Nice birthday performance at the end. And she doesn't resolve that melody either at the end. She goes up with that last guitar chord and it's like unsettling. It's like, hang on, where are we wanting to go with this? What does this even mean, you know? I like that ambiguity at the end tonally. I think that's fantastic. But this definitely sounds like a single, you know? It sounds like someone you know, who is like, yeah, no, I know we need some of these to be a bit more short form. Let's try and make these a bit catchier, you know what I mean? So kudos to that. Lyrics, again by Sheena Ringo. Whenever I hear cicadas sing, I am reminded of Kuju Kuri Hama. I let go of my grandmother's wrinkled hand and wandered alone into the red light district. My mom was the queen of this place and I looked just like her. Oh, okay, so this is about like sort of prostitution or something like that. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. All that rise must surely fall. So I suppose that's sort of suggesting that, you know, through that experience she had, maybe she experienced some suffering or some disappointment or some trepidation through the choices she made getting involved in that. But this is showing such an openness with this track. It's wonderful to hear Sheena tell us these stories there to kind of let us into her world. I think it's a very brave thing to discuss for an opening album or a debut album, and I'm really proud of her for doing that. I just want to do something really quickly as well. It's an OBS thing, so I'm hoping it won't cause any issues, but sometimes I've realized with the noise gate that I have, Yeah, it needs another 2B just because sometimes when I breathe, it goes, it has a little stutter thing. So I'm still kind of working mic settings out after 2 years of doing this. But that's fine. That's audio engineering. Didi says she actually played the drums in the song. She played the drums really well. Yeah, I enjoyed listening to her play the drums. I mean, this just shows she's a multi-talented instrumentalist and composer. This is a single. Cool. I thought it would have been a single. That's good. I'm glad that I could pick that up. I think that the song, the accompaniment behind the vocals laments the situation that her mom was in. I think that it laments that. I think it's kind of a sad track, kind of bittersweet one, but I think it's also well balanced harmonically and musically in a way that it doesn't become too sort of like too much. But we've got track number 3 now, Maru no Chi Sadistic. I believe we have listened to this one before, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to have a quick listen back to what we were doing just before. Put it up to 7. Such an open vocal melodies and the bass is. It is smooth, D-Win. Absolutely, it is quite smooth. I'm happy with the balancing on that. The audio quality is fine. Cool. Let's continue with Maru no Chi Sadistic. Thank you to everyone for coming along so far. It's hopefully you guys are going to hear one of your favorite Sheena Ringo songs today. I've been told this is definitely one worth checking out. But yeah, this has obviously hit one of the biggest ones at 40 million plays. Oh. This is charming immediately off the back with the harmonica alongside that kind of groovy 16-note drum beat. And the interesting sort of percussion we had initially with the 3-2-1 at the beginning as well. It's just wonderful. There's such an incredible warmth and yeah. Maybe this is a hot take. I actually prefer her voice when she was younger to her voice now. I think there's a little bit more mid-range in it, and I'm not sure if she kept that later on into her career. Maybe there's a bit more bass resonance in this album. There was a little bit of uncertainty in that vocal line there, but I kind of dig it. I like the fact that we aren't trying to sanitize our vocal melodies too much or play it too safe. That bass line just pumps along with an and 2 and 3 and 4 and nice additional lead harmonica here. Kind of again, they're doing this thing where they have the vocal melody and then they have another instrument come back and sort of replicate that to kind of continue to sort of suck us in further. That part with the bass is incredibly sort of fulfilling for some reason. I think because it goes into some sort of major extension like a triad, and it's pleasant. There's a mild bit of optimism in there. I like the fact that in her own album, she likes to let the other musicians have a bit more space there. I think that's wonderful. Like, it always makes me sad when I hear musicians who are kind of paranoid or about allowing themselves to not be the focal point. But Sheena Ringo, and I've said this in previous reviews of her work, is she's in a great space there. Oh, sorry. Hang on. The lyrics. Right. I forgot to put the lyrics on. Yeah, sorry. I'm still getting used to doing the lyrics for these songs. I forget. So that's my bad. I'll try and remember them for the rest of them, alright? Thank you for reminding me. Because it's a relatively simple sort of chord progression in that chorus section. I think basically the vocal melody is what gives this the power. It's great to have her sort of work in her head voice there, nice and colourful. A bit of onomatopoeia, a bit of sketching going on there. Oh, really? Okay, so I mean, like to me, that was fairly straightforward and easy to understand what was going on there. You know, with the arrangement, there were several sections, and I think that was more consistent. Some of the other tracks we've had there tonally, even considering that single that we had before with the shuffle and all. This chords are used nowadays in Japanese music industry because of the song. Are overused nowadays, should I say? Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Double D or DD. I have heard these chords a few times in tracks I've heard, especially through like the SP Patreon reviews that I've done. I think that's fine. I don't have any issues with that myself. I think personally, if you are vibing with that way of approaching things, I think that it's okay to use it. It's not like you can copyright a chord progression. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with being a bit more explorative, and it's a shame it's a shame to imagine people, you know, use like chord progressions like this as a crutch in order to get their own sort of sound. You know what I mean? But I guess it's also a testament and a compliment to Sheena Ringo that she's able to sort of pull that off. Okay, so I've just got to remember to press the lyric button when I go to the next song. I'll try and remember that, okay? But Maru no Uchi Sadistic, the reward after joining the company is a parallel line. I love Tokyo, but there's nothing here. There are interesting rearranged live versions, I remember. That would be cool. I'd be keen to check those out. Genuinely, like it's just the only issue with the live versions is that they tend to get blocked on YouTube. So I've got to kind of do some interesting, kind of crazy stuff to get them to work. At least it's not like Neil Young, where like he will just block anything that you put on YouTube, regardless of it. Even the audio, he'll block it. I guess for Neil Young, though, he doesn't need to make any more money. I suppose, you know, he just doesn't like the whole sort of people putting his stuff online, and that's fine. You know, please give me a Rickon. Oh, like a guitar. It's tough with Smell of Marshall flying, reaching a climax every night. Then Benji to one rat as a business skill. Then Benji reflects in my lunge and I trip. So what is this song about? Is this song about? I'm gonna put the lyrics back up so you guys can help me out because I'm not sure. Like, I'm on in the future get married. I want to be a pizza shop girlfriend. Then Benji hit me with Gretch. Yeah, I don't know. Playing with the bedding each night. Oh, they were written before she was 18. That's wild. So are they just like songs that she had like stories about? Because like for me, I look at this and I think it's someone who's kind of bored of the corporate life, who doesn't want to live an ordinary lifestyle, and instead would rather kind of sort of have more of a kind of a unique sort of like experience there with guitars and be a musician and all that kind of stuff. That's my take on it. But you guys let me know. It's incredible to me that she was able to write the stuff before she was 18, though. Some of these musicians, I think we take for granted just how talented they are. To be able to get the stuff out there at that point is incredible. It's very impressive. It's a great album to listen to. It's a story about Tokyo who went to work part-time to support his musical dream after work. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's good to have a little bit of context. Sometimes with these translations, I don't quite get the story I need. I really wish that they would stop having these autoplay ads on these websites because go away. It makes me feel very upset that I have to watch a video when I haven't chosen to. But that's okay. Um oh um Hi Andreas. I think sent the Google Drive link through. If I haven't, or there's been an error sending the message, please let me know. Yeah, because I'd like to put it up. It's just that it got blocked instantly. So I'm hoping that you've gotten the message with the album with the review in it. All the SP patrons that are watching this, you will be. I've got it scheduled so that you'll all get your reviews for the end of the month. Yo will be getting their review today, but it'll go up tomorrow because I don't want to overload the channel with this and then this live stream and then the Fiverr stuff and everything. Yeah. Oh, that's the one. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the rat pedal. That's a good point. Because the rat pedals were huge around that time. Thank you for the clarification. That's really good to know. The lyrics don't make total sense, but she wanted the lyrics to groove with the vibe the song itself has. Well, that makes sense. Thank you. I want a rat pedal too. Awesome guitar pedals. They're really awesome guitar pedals. No wonder Sheena Ringo has great taste. Has great taste in guitar pedals. We've got track number 4 though. The Theory of Happiness with lyrics. I remembered this time. And just as a closing comment, I did think that the lyrics the singing did groove with the music. I think that it can be, you can find a compromise between the how concise you are with your words and how much the flow needs to kind of be coherent with everything else. I love the grit and the filth in those distortion parts. I love how bit crushed that is. I think that's a really fun tone. Did I actually like confuse things? Theory of Happiness. I think it's more than that, but like I don't have the full version on YouTube or on Spotify. It does sound like a live recording, you're right. I mean, that's ferocious tone-wise. There's lots of scratchy, overdriven rhythm parts with some unison bends. The drums are frenetic and incredibly energetic, and I adore that. The bass as well is nice and well behaved, you know, in contrast to them. But the vocals have been compressed so much with that distortion that you can hear kind of like her breathing's like that. It's absolutely wild, dude. Absolutely wild. I love that effect. Such a change from what we had previously in this album. I think this is my favorite song of... I kind of like this song. It's probably my favorite song from her just for the eccentricity of the vocal tone as well as just the complete vibe shift between the verse and the chorus parts. She's just screaming. She's just screaming and I adore that. It's very creative. Great use of a room mic as well. I'm wondering if they even like close mic'd any of the parts of the drum kit.
Wow.
Oh, itchy knee san, chi, itchy knee, itchy knee, itchy knee san, chi, itchy knee san. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, isn't it? Itchy knee san, chi yon. I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing now. You guys can let me know if you want. Okay, well, that was a hell of a way to finish it. Incredibly chaotic. Incredibly chaotic at the end. I'm going to give that a like. Of course, it's one of the least listened to parts of the album, but I don't particularly mind. I can understand that if people are more familiar with the style of this here, these three, that this would be a really intense tone shift or a really intense vibe shift, you know. But I guess this album is simply what Sheena Ringo wanted to do, and you have to respect that, you know. These are songs again that were written before she's 18, if I'm not mistaken, from what you guys have told me already. So good on him. Theory of happiness. When I went looking for true happiness, I started thinking to myself that I wanted to love and be loved. Oh, okay. All right. I get it. Because you laugh and cry so openly to keep myself from hoping for anything. Oh, okay. Have I got the right song? I don't think I have. Have I? Yeah, I'm not sure if this is correct. I mean, it looks as if it's correct. You know. Hmm. So this is about someone realizing that they're searching for happiness, but it was there all along, and trying to find it is kind of redundant. You know what I mean? The flow of time. I will continue to predict it all. Your melody, your philosophy, the things you have to say, the reality of you being alive right here with me is all it takes to make me happy. That is that is that is beautiful. Like that there is a wonderful line to finish on. The reality of you being alive right here with me is all it takes to make me happy. Maybe don't think too hard about it because the idea that you need someone to be there with you to be happy is not particularly healthy. You know, that's bordering on codependence, but like just from a storyline perspective, I think it's wonderful, you know? Shenyida says, is this an experimental song? Find it interesting and a bit confusing. It is a bit confusing. The screaming and everything like that, that was a bit wild for me personally, but I like the fact that she's really emotionally invested in it. I think that that's fantastic. It's a very extremely charismatic performance. Gotta show some love for that. Double D says, she always says that Japanese language is really hard to groove with Western influence music, especially pop, so her lyrics are always weird and unique. That's cool. And apparently this is a single too, thank you, D-Woo. She actually, Double D says, she actually hates her first and second albums. She says she gets goosebumps when she hears them. Oh, that's a bit sad, man. I think that I'd get it if like I'd get it if the studio or the performances or any of those elements were objectively poor, but the quality of it all at the moment is actually really good. I guess that's just a part of her life which she looks back on and kind of sees it differently now. But that was, you know, for her, that time was huge. And I guess that's all you can take away from that. But we got track number 5 now. Akane Sasukiro Tarasaredo. Though it's getting dark on the way home. So let's listen through this one. With lyrics, of course. Oh, it's not the single version. Oh, there's a separate version? Good to know. But yeah, we're gonna listen through this here. Track number 5, dude. We're making our way through this album. This is so different to the previous track though, isn't it? These soft pianos and little shakers and the quietness of it. Those piano chords are charming. Sorry, no, we cannot even compare those. The opening way of singing to that build there with the strings coming up on the sides and her suddenly getting to her chest voice, but with a bit more oomph. I'd say that Sheena Ringo is one of the most versatile singers I have ever heard. Just from stuff like that. There's just another gear that she kicks into, dude. It's wild. Incredibly impressive. I mean, I like the way that we have these extended chords in here, these jazzy major and minor sevens, because I think that you really can just sit there and go, okay, there's an emotional complexity to this because of that. With traditional major and minors, I really should just have a ukulele in here so that I can sort of play it for people. Should I do that? I don't want to go over and get it though. I don't want to go get it now. Nah, screw it. Screw it. I'm going to go get my ukulele. This is a new thing, I suppose. Because it's a little instrument. Very easy to figure out what's going on. And we've got plenty of time. We're making good time. Okay. So this, for anyone who is unacquainted, is a ukulele, okay? So when you play a guitar or a ukulele, you play like a, I mean, it's slightly out of tune, but that's a C chord. And that sounds happy, right? So that's a major. Then you've got a minor. So that's an A minor. So that's a sad sounding chord, right? Now, those majors and minors, they're interchangeable, but there's like major and minor, right? Now, when I talk about the extensions, see how that's instantly a lot more tonally complex? It doesn't really sound happy, even though it's technically a major 7. You know what I mean? It's just these 7th chords are really important in the style of music that you guys seem to love and adore. You guys really seem to like your sort of jazzy sort of like chords in your music nowadays, and that's part of what allows for a lot more flexibility in composition, is actually not sticking to a standard major or minor. It's allowing the song to not be so kind of black or white, and I kind of adore that. But it's something that a lot of people were phobic for like throughout the 2000s, especially with Western music up until the mid-2010s, when we started getting the more sort of like futuristic kind of hip-hop kind of jazzy stuff coming back. And that bass line flowing through the triads is wonderful. I think that's a great tone of guitar as well, the steel strings. This is more of the tone that I'm familiar with, you know? having the what as well is just not just for like the sound of it, but also it's like it works well within this style of kind of funky, kind of jazzy goodness. In my opinion, there's a bit too much of this in it. It's kind of distracting from what she's doing as a vocalist, but it's still musically sounding, you know. It's used a ton. But definitely at this point from listening through her album so far, the pulling thing, the thing that makes you unique truly is Sheena Ringo as a singer, as a performer. Oh, the flamenco guitar is a nice touch though, for sure. For sure. I'm gonna still look through the lyrics after this, but I think that there is wonderful. Again, exploring her vocal range there. Just for her to come into English a little bit, it wouldn't surprise me if this was also considered for a single, predominantly because it would explore kind of both languages there and kind of open herself up to a bigger audience. I don't think there's anything in this album so far that would have been too alien to people listening around that time that were familiar with the genres that she interacted with. Clearly is a fundamental understanding music theory and composition with how she harmonizes with those piano parts. Fantastic tone to those drums, just how the clarity of them, how well shaped they are in terms of the EQ and compression and everything. It's fantastic. Oh, drum solo though. Man, we've been spoiled in this song. Excellent. Phenomenal drum solo at the end. You don't get many of those in tracks. There aren't many drum solos that we hear in music, and I think that's a shame because the drums are an incredibly expressive instrument when they're played in a way that allows that to be the case. I think a lot of the time people will be like, oh, no, the drums are for keeping the groove, or when they do get a solo, they'll just play 1,000 beats a minute. But you can sing melodies with drums, and you know, like that. I know it sounds kind of weird, but people tune their drums to notes. For example, in certain genres like jazz, for example, they'll tune it to like the note that is part of the triads of most of the chords or key signatures that they play and suit the vocalist. There's little things that they do to kind of spice it up, but. Anyways, great song there. I like the structure of like the intro with like sort of more sort of R&B-ish kind of influences, and then kind of coming into her own with like the kind of English part, and then boom, drum solo. Great combination of elements. Very special. Yeah, it's nice to have a bit of water. We're at the halfway point, by the way. Daewoo says, it's the previous song, I suppose, was a resale edition arranged by Seiji Kameda. Great. And then best vibe so far. I would agree that this is, I would say I personally prefer the one before it. Just because I like how raw and intense it was, but I can understand why you appreciate the fifth track. So that's absolutely fine. And not that you need my permission to like something, of course. We have we have I didn't mean to start. No. I didn't mean to start Discord. Stop. Don't make it big. Stop. Where did it go? I'm kind of nervous. Close window. Cool. That didn't need to come further. Good. So we're going to continue with the lyrics, though. I've got to be careful with this because I've got this. I've got it so that oh, that's annoying. Okay, here we go. So he kisses me on the cheek at the intersection we always cross at. Today sinks the past the ocean yet again, having made no promises. Hmm. So I think this is about someone like putting their headphones on and enjoying the music and then sort of like getting sort of taken away from the world outside. And they're wondering why the music affects them like that. And I'm watching fascination as someone crosses the street. Okay. Is it that like the music is the thing that she's talking to? Like the music, she's kind of like hallucinating or imagining the music as a person that she can rely on to cheer her up? Is that the comparison that we're making here? I suppose that might be it. You know, that she's kind of personifying music as a whole as something that kind of gets her through the hard times. I think that's kind of beautiful. I may have that completely wrong, by the way. If I have, let me know. But yeah, we'll have to see, anyways. You'll let me know if I'm wrong. But I do have a feel as if she's trying to sort of like look at music as a way of healing herself and expressing herself. You know, we got track 6 now. Do not copy and repost anywhere. Sid and Daydreams song. Sid to Hakuchumu. Yeah, track number 6. Okay. Incredible bass response to that low end. With the far panning of that buzzy thing on the right. The great sound design. I like the shuffling, the automation of the panning of that thing going around the stereo field there alongside the sweetness of a voice. It's really innocent and kind of cute. Sid and Daydreams. Thank you very much, Diwu. Oh, sorry. Hang on. I remembered lyrics. Nearly forgot lyrics. That wouldn't have been good. Oh, that's some fun. That's some fun synth work there. Okay, so I like the way that we switch from the kind of soft sort of bit crushed synth part with some interesting sort of percussion and sort of crashy sort of like dinner plate sounds to the triplet snare crescendo and this. But that swing influence there, peppy vocals, complete vibe shift. And it's just the little things as well, like the sub layer of the like the star going through a sky. So it's like I feel like kind of cut and paste. Well, not necessarily cut and paste, but like you've got, you know, verse, chorus, set idea for each. Transition neatly in with that sort of near identical sort of snare fill. Connection notes. We got that rolling bass line in the low end as well. I don't know if you guys like the boom, 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 boom. That's a really cool. I wonder if they're using a double bass, actually. I wonder if they're using a double bass for that, because that would make sense for a song like this, especially with the swing groove on the ride cymbals of the drum kit. I will go for that major lift, alright. That was unexpected, but nonetheless pleasurable. But nothing else particularly piques or my interest or stands out in comparison to what I've had before. And I'm used to the way she communicates at this point. Great choice of a solo section here. No, that's definitely not a double bass that they're using. It's definitely an electric bass, but it's played like a double bass. I like these jazzy influences, like she's scatting, like she's turning her voice into an instrument and kind of rolling along or riffing off what the lead guitar is doing. I think that's wonderful. It's something that I think is underrated. You don't just have to tell a story with your vocals, you can make other sounds with it too. But she sounds like she's having fun with it, and that's the most important thing, is that it sounds like she's having a good time and giving it her all. It's important to do that, you know? But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying having the lyrics, you know, being able to sort of sing along to those. Wow, man, though. We're 6 tracks through, though. We're making good time. Good time. I'm glad that it's one of your favs. That's great. So what's your favorite part about this song? What's the favorite part about the song for you? Because I would like to know. For me, it was a kind of little video gamey kind of synthy, sort of bit crushed drum parts that we had at the beginning. I thought that was really cool. Oh, it was inspired by the story of Sid Vicious, a member of the Sex Pistols band, and his lover Nancy Spungen. Oh, thank you. I had no idea. Wow, that's cool. I had no idea that that was the case. Thank you for that, Paul. I appreciate it. And in the dreams I made a long time ago, I was another person. I was obsessed with Janice Ian. I knew that the real thing would be in reality. Oh, okay. I have to cut your hair if those pitch black eyes of yours shine into mine, I can breathe. So it sounds like a really toxic, horrific sort of relationship where like, if those, you know, like they look at you and you feel alive because they pay attention to you. It's pretty wild. Like I don't know anything about Sid Vicious and the situation there, but it makes me want to learn more about it. And I suppose that's one of the most powerful things a song can do, is to get you curious about a musician and their time through the story that they're telling. Although now I really hate the shadows and such that won't go away, I wouldn't mind if you killed me. That's wild, dude. Wow, Nick. That's wild, dude. No, thank you, Nick Liu. Thank you very much for that donation. That's really kind. Wow, that's awesome. I don't know what to say. I'm gonna say thanks so much for your donation. Generous. Yeah, I really appreciate that. It does help. I'll definitely go buy myself a coffee after this. But hopefully every one of you is enjoying the review, including Nick and everyone else who has asked me to review Sheena Ringo. Great time. Yeah, I do genuinely feel as if yeah, is that where I want that part to go? Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. It's just come up on the screen now. If those pitch black eyes of yours shine into mine, I can breathe. Yeah, I. That's a terribly kind of depressing ending, isn't it? You know, the idea of if I really hate the shadows and such that won't go away, I wouldn't mind if you killed me. I feel a sense of sadness now after hearing that, especially after a lot of the rest of this album being thematically very kind of how do I describe it? A lot of this album hasn't really gotten as heavy or as intense as this, but I suppose that's just the kind of fluidity of Sheena Ringo thematically. She's got all these stories that she wanted to tell, you know. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, let us continue with track number 7, which is oh, okay. Let me just open this up because this is looking like a real kind of mess. The way that they've done this, they've made it so that, oh no, I have to make it this big. So I apologize if you can't see these lyrics here. There is no way for me to format this website so that the actually hang on. Can I just go like all the way down the bottom? I can. Okay, so we have this track here, which is Sumiki Asobi. So hopefully you can help me figure out what this is all about. Playing with blocks. Thank you very much, Dewo. I appreciate that. Let us go with track number 7. Get the lyrics up. Have we got a polyrhythm or a polygroove going on here? A polymeter? Just the way those guitars and drums are going together, they kind of... Hang on. Where did it go? Yeah, my Nanoleaf panels, man. I'm going to put the ukulele down here. And I'm going to put that here. There we go. Some more of that pitch shifting in there going on with the drums and the guitars. That's okay. The breathiness of her vocals as well is just incredible. Again, I cannot get over that range vocally and tonally. Is that brass or a synth? Nice switch up though. There's like a wonderful thing going on with the alternate strumming of those distorted chords, where we've not just got those bar chords and those funky sevenths going on, but we've also got the muted kind of these natural harmonics that are occurring when whoever's playing that does that. It's kind of caustic, but it also adds a point of interest there because it's like it's somehow both percussive and harmonic at the same time when you chime those harmonics together. Yeah, and just alongside the drum groove, the 16th notes, and the charismatic vocal performance, you can't really go wrong. Would have been difficult to get this part to EQ properly. Oh? It makes me wonder, like, why she speaks in English sometimes and not others, because it's like I'm wondering if she's doing that to appeal to an English audience, or there's like people in Japan who speak English well enough to know this and kind of vibe with that. This is more of one of the more experimental tracks in this album by far. just going down with that bass and vocals. But that, to be fair, that transition is substantially effective, because just if only for the fact that I don't know how she managed to get those 4 different sort of tones, those kind of quirky sort of like pitch shifts, and like the real kind of warbling kind of EQing that was going on there, back into a clean transition into the chorus. I'm still figuring that out. She does lots of Japanese style bridges. Oh, so there's like a specific style to that, Daewoo? Yeah, if you can, I would be keen to, like, if there's other songs that use a similar style, it'd be good to just learn more about it, I think. So I'd like to hear more examples of that, just so I can sort of compare and kind of collate. There's an 8th offbeat kind of accent with those open hi-hats that I think is nice, and it's a change from what I had previously. But just whilst we're here as well, I want to sort of give a shout out to how wide those vocal are on the side, alongside those traditional sort of like plucked elements, those like harps or something like that. It just suddenly boosts the stereo field out of nowhere. There would have been a reason, I suppose, for that. Maybe it was simply to keep the listener kind of sort of watching around the stereo field for different elements, but and the slap bass as well. Dope, man. And can you hear that bass guitar? How it's so far up its fretboard. Like, it is so far up there. It's excellent. There we go. It's so far up its fretboard. It's really charming. But what I'll do is I'll put that yeah, there we go. It's Japanese instruments, I think. Yeah, I would say it'd probably be Japanese instruments. Because I got given a list by Jacob Good, as well as a lot of you other guys. You guys have been trying to help me out with it. But I need to get maybe a Japanese list of instruments. What? Are there common Japanese instruments used in songs like these? Yeah, because it'd be good to sort of fill up my thesaurus for like the Japanese traditional instruments as well, considering I'm going to be reviewing more artists like Fuji Kaze and other ones soon. But I would like to also have a go at some J-Rock as well at some point, if I can get away with it and not get blocked immediately. And her English is good too. Like, the words are coming through nice and clearly, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I liked how the guitars in that last part kind of pulled up the range there. And I think there was a lot more room for the instrumentalists to breathe in this one. It was, I think it was a really good balance between what, see you later, Andres. Have a good day, my dude. Take care, my dude. Take care. Have a good day. What is it? Come on. Like, there was a good balance between what we're doing instrumentally here, and like the intensity and the range there tonally versus what Sheena was doing. It was a really good balance. But you're gonna look through the lyrics now. I'm gonna have some more water. I have too many favorite people and things, so I'm likely to be forsaken by all. I have no intention of bluffing, but I'm not afraid of anything particularly. Okay. The river flows continuing without rest. Is there any flower which must not float on there? There shouldn't be. I can't meet those who I want to meet, so I'm going to throw everything in my hand away to the sky before the sunrise that isn't concerned about me. What is this song about? Yeah, what is the song about? I'd like to know because I don't quite get it. My interpretation, listening to the lyrics while I'm reading through the lyrics, is that it's about someone who is constantly trying to sort of build themselves up and kind of get themselves to a point where they're comfortable in their life, but they can never seem to get to the right place because there's always these distractions or things put up in place to kind of prevent them from being able to do so. That's my interpretation of it. And I think maybe the discordance in some of those tones there is due to that. It's basically the world kind of letting them know that this isn't the direction they're supposed to make and to go the other way. But that obviously isn't desirable for Sheena Ringo. So you know what I mean. But yeah, we've got track number 8 now. Coco de Kishite. Kiss Me Here. Oh, okay. Track number 8.
So never say goodbye and kiss me once again.
I'll never be able to give up on you, so never say goodbye and kiss me once again. So a lot of these are love songs, aren't they? A lot of these songs are predominantly love songs. I don't necessarily think the previous one was. It's nice to have those oscillating organs on the side there as a stereo panning sort of device to kind of make it wider. And then you've got the drums and Sheena having sort of a solo moment in the middle, with the bass coming in and out to kind of there was something a little bit hot in there in regards to like the leveling. I think that, and maybe it was the actual vocal recording itself. That was a little bit like, kind of sounds like the vocals had a little bit too much gain in them. I used to hear a bit of sort of digital sizzle or something like that. Or it could be analog sizzle, which is why it was a bit more pleasant to listen to. This is a more sort of traditional chord progression. Oh. See, because she could have gone, hey, hey, but I mean, I can't sing, so I'll try to keep this quick. Hey, you know, she doesn't have to go up, but she does because she wants to make it more like, oh, wait, well, where are we going? Boom, and she rises to that note in your left there. Resolved to like the 5th in that triad of that chord that's playing at that point. It's really cool. Yeah, so many Japanese songs have used samisen as an instrument. Thank you, Paul, for that. And this one is hard to sing. Yeah, it is. It is hard to sing. Take it from some guy who can't really sing. It is very difficult to sing. But I think it's more than just like singing the notes correctly and getting the rhythmic phrasing properly. It's more like she has a really unique vocal tone. So it's just difficult by virtue of being it's just difficult by virtue of that. Because like you can't sing like Sheena Ringo, she's got a really unique voice. So that half the battle is gone there, you know. It's really easy to follow along to. The organ in the background is nice and warm sounding, adds a bit of spirituality to the tone of it. Yeah, there's a little bit more going on with the way she's expressing herself here and the way she's planning out these vocal melodies. I do like the fact she's being a little bit braver with trying these vocal sort of trills and these different sort of tail ends on it. I think it is more vocally interesting than some of the stuff we had in the past from like a performative like melodic sequence melodic perspective as opposed to like the timbre of it like we're going between the vocal grit and all that we had before all the extra additional effects.
あなたほどの人なんていないよあなたしか見てないのよ今すぐにここでキスして
Great. This is what I needed from her at this point. Some to cleanse the palate a little bit. The way I see the guitars in this album, you know, sometimes the lead guitars are there to play sort of a traditional sort of melody or alternate voicing to what Sheena Ringo's doing, but other times the guitars are there to be sort of like more of a noise rockish kind of thing, you know. We got that real kind of caustic kind of vibrato and a clashiness with the distortion, the overdrive there. And I don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, but I don't think these are guitar solos in like the traditional sense. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the kind of stuff that Tom Morello does and like Rage Against the Machine and stuff. I think that's dope. I think it's really cool.
私と一緒でなきゃ嫌よあなたしか見てないのよ今
But she sounds absolutely angelic at this point.
ここでキスしてね I feel so nice 'cause you are with me now If it suits me I love you so much Baby I'll never be able to give up on you So never say goodbye and kiss me once again
Here we go. Yeah, no, that would be damn near impossible to sing the way that Sheena's doing it there. It's just, there's just so much nuance in the way that she's delivering those lines and the way that she's putting those notes out. Sometimes she's purely head or chest voice, other times there's a bit of roughness. It's just, it's incredibly, it's funny that the song is also one of the Sid trilogy because I was about to say it sounds a little bit vicious, not in the traditional sense or the typical kind of oh it sounds rough sense, but she's really pushing her self to her limits with what she's doing as as a performer, and I think that suits the music really well. But I can kind of understand why her voice has changed over time because it's very difficult to keep up some of the way she's. I feel like sometimes she's got a bit of a sort of throat involved. And I know that sounds weird because that's where singing comes from. It comes through the throat. But a lot of the time with proper vocal technique, you're not supposed to actually focus on the spit. You know, that you shouldn't really be needing to talk this. You're supposed to be, this part here is where it's supposed to come from. You're supposed to rely on this as little as possible with traditional sort of like vocal technique. I get the feeling she's kind of using a lot of kind of like this part and that's why she gets some interesting tones, but it's rough on her. I can tell that it's a bit rough on her, but incredibly engaging vocal performance there. The music behind it was fantastic. I liked the fact that she sang in English at that later part there. For someone like me who's not familiar with Japanese language, it's nice to kind of get let in on what's going on a little bit. And I think that's potentially part of why she is successful because she wasn't afraid of opening up the range that she had to a bigger audience. I enjoy this music, and I feel kind of special because she let me in. So that's fantastic. The bass line is nice. It is a really nice bass line. I think that the bass line not only worked with the chord progressions and like sort of sauntered along with that really well, but it was just such a lovely sort of bit of warmth in that low end, bit of heft there, a bit of a bit of power in there that didn't overdo it or overstep its welcome, you know. So, you know, bass tone's phenomenal. Bass lines were intricate and interesting and well performed. Paul says this is one of the Sid trilogy. Well, that's good to know. See, we're continuing with the Sid stuff. I am really fascinated by this. I think that it's great that we're exploring that side of things and that side of storytelling. But we'll have a look at the lyrics in a moment. So we're gonna yeah, kiss me here. And I'll see if I can make this bigger. Oh, not that one. Actually, should we make that bigger? No, I don't think it makes sense to do that. Yeah, we'll just keep that like that. I'll figure that out on my own time because I'd like for you guys to be able to see the chat on the screen as well. But yeah. How about that? That's good. I like this one. I think that will be better. It's marginally more able to be viewed. But yeah, one of the Sid trilogy. So how we got? That's bigger, but it's kind of awkward to view. I'll never be able to give up on you. So never say goodbye and kiss me once again. I'm directly in front of you. Actually, it's not. Oh, okay. I'm the only one who can put a modern day Sid Vicious in handcuffs. Damn, dude. Oh, so there's a direct sort of like reference to that. Your long eyelashes, your big fragile hands, everything I love. There isn't a person like you everywhere. I only have eyes for you. So yeah, this is definitely that like enduring love, that absolute adoration for this person who they are. You know, maybe the situation with them and how they interact with each other isn't particularly good. There's a lot of warmth and a lot of love coming within that. It's a very fitting way to continue that trilogy. I like being sort of like filled in on it. I think that's fantastic. So thank you to Paul for that again, as well as everyone else who's kind of helped me with that. But we got Onai Yoru, same night. Let us continue with track number 9. Listening time. And lyrics, right? I remember this time. Yay! How many instruments have we had in this album? How many different instruments have we had? Even if they're occasional, I still think it's worth giving a shout out to the arrangement of it and how complex it is. But simultaneously so sensible. I think this is a wonderful lullaby. The guitar and the way that Sheena Ringo is singing here pair wonderfully with each other. Oh, that lift there was unexpected. Charming. You know, I think it's obviously so different to what we've had previously. How I love how active the violin is in this. I think that it's a great substitute for Sheena in the center of stereo field there as an alternate lead voicing. It's so pretty sounding and it suits the way the guitar's being played with the repeating 8-chord motif there. The fact that the strings are so subtle on that left side is indicative of an understanding with the studio engineering that we just cannot have that competing in that similar frequency spectrum that Sheena is in. So good job having that as a sub layer.
たとえ私が息を止めても吹き荒れる
I do like this song quite a lot.
涙することも幸せな日々をただ願う
So ridiculous on that side there, on the left side of Seraphil.
海に立ち止まることも触れられない君をただ思うことも同じ
She does that. Oh, she likes to do that a lot. I've noticed that throughout several songs on this album. She likes to have that sort of slow glide upwards there through legato. It's great.
明日を始めてしまうたとえ
She's getting a little bit sort of like
息を止めて
anxious near the end with that delivery. Okay, I think I understand what's going on here. I didn't miss the guitar on the right side, by the way. I was just enamored by what was going on with the vocals. I mean, like there was a distorted guitar, some sort of feedback on the other side of stereo field. I was just focusing on how sort of like chaotic the strings were getting. I kind of feel as if there was a wonderful start to that tale, and this is me potentially talking about what the song is about before I even look through the lyrics. Not that I'm sure that you watching this, you can see the lyrics, but I think with this track, we have a song where you've got a person who is basically telling a wonderful sort of pretty tale at the beginning, and it gradually becomes it kind of festers and mutates and becomes something it's not supposed to be near the end. And we're same night, because I already know mosaic memories of the Tokyo buildings boiling with heat, a distorted mirage. My true nature at the limit, a delusion of red painted lips, the licking motion of a tongue, because I already know. Oh. Your voice brought me here in these spiritless veins. So is this someone who was like lured into a trap, who got taken by the nose, pulled into somewhere they didn't want or need to be, and they eventually regretted it? You know, your voices brought me here at the end, at the mercy of a floating dream. So they got led somewhere where they couldn't quite achieve what they wanted to. Is this about being manipulated or abused or kind of tricked by someone? Is that it? I don't know. My true nature limit, a delusion of red painted lips, licking motion of a tongue. Damn, man. I guess this is maybe disillusionment with the life they've lived at that point, or what their reality of their adulthood is, or something like that. I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful sort of lyricism. It's just I think there's still a little bit of nuance that I'm missing. But I think yeah, that dream that gets worse and worse over time. I think that's the you got the really pretty violin starting out and everything's nice and gorgeous, and at the end things just get absolutely abhorrent because the dream turns into a nightmare. That's my understanding of that track there. Hopefully I'm not too far off, but yeah, we have track 10 now. Got 2 more to go, Shredders. Hopefully you have enjoyed watching or listening through these tracks. If it has been a while since you've done so, this is terrible. I don't know what the hell is. Oh no, I could go down the bottom, right? Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review so far. Hopefully I haven't been pausing too much, but I've been doing the best I could. You know, it is a beautiful song. Exactly, Blue Dinner Box. It's a wonderful song. I know that for some of you it may be a little bit frustrating that there's a delay between when you see stuff from here and when I write it. I think it's a gorgeous song, though. I apologize. It's just because I want to make sure there's auto captions for anyone that needs it, and just YouTube doesn't do them in real time, which is fair. You know, it's fair. YouTube doesn't really owe me anything, which I mean that nicely. It's just it's a website, and it does auto captions if you need it. The technology is quite incredible if you think about it. At some point, they'll get it so that the auto captions are a little bit more accurate, and at that point, it'll just be super dope. But until then, we have got Kei Koku lyrics by Ringo Sheena off of the album Muzai Moratorium. So we will continue with this. At night, I can't feel the coming of morning even the slightest, but we'll listen through it first, okay? Track number 10. Sensational. Great job having that guitar on the right with the distortion, full drums. Organs and bass coming in. Nice full arrangement there. No complaints whatsoever. No complaints whatsoever. Thank you, Daewoo, for that. Caution. And I gotta put lyrics on, right? Cool. Nice. Sup. I do like the funkiness of it, the jazzy influences there with those extensions and the organ there holding onto the root or the 5. I love how effortless she goes into her head voice there. It's just such a great movement there, and she's just showing off her finesse so eloquently. God, dude. That's awesome, dude. And that chirpy little organ part there, man. That chirpy little organ part with the call and response there with the vocals. Again, like tonally, like in terms of the studio production, this is some of the most solid, consistent stuff we've had yet. Because like it just there's no perceivable lack of loudness or quietness going between. Hang on a minute. Nushka, can we go outside? Can we go outside? You do. Okay, come on. Go on. Thank you. Had to let my cat out. Didn't mean to interrupt the song in the middle of it, but you know, when the girl wants, the girl wants. That's alright. There we go. Awesome. We're good now. We're good now. I don't know how to put Sheena Ringo's, like, I don't know how to put Sheena Ringo's sound to, like, a style at this point. There's so much variety in the different genres and styles and influences we have here. She's so confident and happy with herself, with how she communicates. Oh, key change. Good choice for a solo here. That solo section coming down like that, Very effective, tremendous. It was just you got used to hearing that consistency of the loud guitars, and even if this it sounded dope, just having things kind of quiet and it's just an instant sort of like shift, and it's just like it catches your attention. Is that her breathing going around the headphones? That's wild, dude. Again, we've got a similar. I think that sometimes Sheena knows that she has to hold back the width of her performance to allow for more range from the other instruments, and sometimes the other instruments are there to keep things simple to allow her more room to breathe and sort of flex. I like that they take turns. that the breathing at the end, dude. Just I can't, man. That I don't know what this track is about. Like, actually, no, you guys are telling me. So let's take a look through chat. No, talking to that. This is a song she wrote to her ex-boyfriend when she was 18. It does it does kind of sound like it could be that way. To be fair, it does kind of sound like a sort of a screw you kind of song, but not, you know. She has her own style. Yeah, Blue Dinner Box. I would agree with that. I would absolutely say she has her own style. I think that's part of why she's become iconic. You know. Paul says her boyfriend pretended to go out with her in the way she liked, but then she found out he was just acting. This made her feel betrayed. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that context there. I understand. I understand that completely. I'm gonna have a look through the lyrics in a second, but just guitar solo, great, dude. I'm glad you like the guitar solo. To be fair, there have been a few really dope guitar solos here. I kind of like the rhythm work more in some situations. I think that it's testament to the skill of the composition and performance that the rhythm parts on the guitar are sometimes as interesting as the leads. Here we got the English copy here. At night, I can't feel the coming of morning, even the slightest. Does darkness consider Japan's future? Damn, the television signs hardly stop my watch. Oh. The answering machine in your room seems to be functioning properly. Somehow I don't care in the least because my hair growing long means nothing to me. Oh, yeah, definitely. So that I can definitely sort of see how this is kind of like a comment on like the fakeness of the person. She's definitely writing that to an ex-boyfriend. The person I met that summer doesn't exist. Yeah, now that's it. That's what we're looking for. That's that kind of snark that we need in a track like this. You cried through the receiver, but I'm the one who wants to cry. Oh man, teenage relationships are hard. You know, that they're really hard when you're a teenager, man, and it's hard enough when someone isn't even being who they actually are, you know. Yeah. You laugh at me, liars get deceived as well, but starting with foolish old me, there are a race of those incapable of the act. If I fall clumsily, unable to go forward correctly, I'll die without any tool to help me stand up. If I can put away this murderous intent, as a last word, I want to tell you not to make fun of me so mechanically. Damn, dude. Damn. She's basically saying, don't make fun of me whilst you're such a fake person. Sticks and stones, my dude. Wow. Yeah, this is not screwing around, dude. This is a real sort of FU song to her ex-boyfriend. Good stuff. No, I can definitely hear the glory of the track as well as the sass in that guitar solo really resonates well with what's going on in the lyrics and the vocal performance there. Her attitude is everything. But we've got one last track today. We are almost done with this review. We're making good time, man. We're definitely going to be done in the 2 hours. We'll do the conclusion as well, of course. We've got Morphine number 1. Let's go. I'll give that a like. How are we going to finish it? And lyrics. Here we go. I remembered. I'm getting used to it now. I'm getting used to remembering lyrics. Can you hear how like ridiculous that guitar solo work is? The kind of the semitonal shifts are going up with the fretboard with the octaves. It's so gentle in comparison to what we've had before. I love the steel string guitars. I like the sweetness in her voice there. It's like I'm not even listening to the Sheena Ringo we had in the previous song. And we got like little sort of hand drums as well. It's like an acoustic live performance, dude. I think because of what we've had instantiated previously with the guitar tones and everything, it kind of reminds you of some of the tracks I've heard from Jay Chou where the guitar's been a little bit too soft for what's going on. But I think there's a style of musical on its own where you have the fuzziness of the guitars without the aggression. Why do fuzzy guitars have to be aggressive, you know? I have missed the whistles. You know, the whistles are great to have them back. I think that they're a fun way of a foil of having the vocals most of the time. And, you know, like when you don't have another instrument aside from like the guitars and the cajon or something, I think it's 101, you know? And that bass guitar actually. Oh no, actually, that's a bass and a drum kit. That snuck up on me a little bit. That was dope. That was really cool. Little triangle parts as well, little triangles. There's a little synth on top somewhere. Whoa, it's making that kind of sound there. And it's very subtle, but it's very effective in my opinion. Nice way of balancing out this last chorus. That last part, where she got into that really high note. Holy shit, that was wild, dude. Like, did you guys heard that, right? She went up and way into a falsetto, and she's done it occasionally, but it was so concentrated here, you know, so concentrated. Wonderful, excellent. Lyric time before we do the conclusion. Paul says, she said, I don't want to feel unstable in the last song. Isn't it too lonely to end with one night? I think that is true. I can agree with that. I think that you've got to really be careful when you're making an album about the taste that you leave in a listener's mouth. If it's too negative, they'll be like, oh, I came away from this feeling sad. And if that's what you want, that's fine. But if you don't, then you got to try and find a way to work around that or do something differently. The phone rings at midnight. I wait on purpose. Oh. I know that I'll never be able to let go because I love you. The warmth and bruises that remain on my body, I'm alone with a sly smile, but believes want to kill. Our bodies overlap with the smell of morphine. Just for now, look at me. I see your back as you leave the room. I'm alone with an unfair smile. What is an unfair smile? I'm not sure why she's talking about an unfair smile. Does she mean it isn't deserved? Is it not real? Or is it that she feels like she got the better of the other person? Is it that like what she wants isn't realistic or something like that? I'm not sure. But look, guys, it's conclusion time. And I want to get big. Because do that in conclusion time. This is my conclusion of Sheena Ringo's Musai Moratorium. What I think this album was about, I think it discussed a lot of her sort of like situations with relationships here. I should make myself small, it's fine. With relationships, with past lovers, with navigating life, with understanding her sort of stances with other people, all the roadblocks that come along the way. There's a lot to take in. I enjoy the fact that she's again talking about her mom as well in that second track as well in the red light districts and stuff like that. I think that it's fantastic that we have a situation with Sheena Ringo where she puts everything out on the table immediately. You get a feeling for who she is. There is no like lack of transparency, no opaqueness. You just have someone who is like, this is who I am. These are the stories I want to tell. I'm going to make sure they're as interesting as possible for you, but you need to accept me as who I am. So I think the storytelling is fantastic, wonderful. I think that what we had going on with the vocals from Sheena was absolutely it was incredible. I did not get a grasp of how dynamic she was until this very first album, where she goes in the soft sweetness of these R&B tracks, where I wouldn't be able to place her next to some of the more bombastic sort of stuff we've heard in this album, like the fourth track, where it's super duper distorted. You know, yeah, it was this one, the 257 one. Like you compare some of the softer ones to how she sounds in those parts. It's wild, man. I think this is someone who knows how to express herself, not only with her own style or way of singing, her own sort of implementation, but she also knows that, hey, we should use effects to kind of create that illusion or that kind of scene there of what it needs to sound like in order to be effective. So, you know, she showed excellent head and chest voice, wonderful vocal technique, her great use of legato and ornamentation and vibrato passages. These sort of like, they're almost like these scattish kind of more vocally instrumental parts. They were wonderful as well, where she kind of flew up and down and she was like all over the place and she just had such flexibility there and it was so confident, such a confident vocal performance there all the way through. She was really authentic and genuine and interesting to listen to, and there was never a dull moment. Even as she repeated verse and chorus sort of like approaches, she would do different tails, or there would be different instruments as well. But like If we look at the length of these tracks, this is an 11-track album. There's I don't think there is a weak track on this album. There are tracks that I liked and ones that I really liked, but there are no songs on this album where, even from the understanding it's a commercially released album, that I think were weak. We have a lot of stuff here where I think, okay, this is someone who clearly wanted to put everything into their debut. They did. There were so many different instruments, ranging from the guitar, the bass, the drums, the keys, the piano, the sort of like string parts, the hand drums, the synths, all these other little kind of synth brass parts. There was there was so much tonal diversity there. So to be fair to, I don't remember Kimeda or something like that. Who arranged the album? Who arranged the album? I'm pretty sure if I go up top. Yeah, Seiji Kameda. Kameda, apparently. I remember you guys telling me that earlier. Seiji Kameda, they were a wonder team. Like, the choices of instruments with the way that we put everything else together was sensational. We had a set template for each song that suited well the story that was being told there. Nothing ever felt too alien or outside of itself. Like, I think that even when we had tracks where we had what was it? It was this one, right? I think it was. Yeah. We had the softness of those violins at the start, even when the violins were played really catastrophically, so frenetic and so uncomfortably. It was still musically sound. It's talent. It's immense talent and a fundamental understanding of music theory and composition that encompassed both these musicians here. And it's just a wonder team. Like, I'm so glad I got to review this album. I completely understand why people are so in love with what Sheena Ringo does. I can understand it in full. The instrument performances were wonderfully varied, and there was never a note out of place, even when things were played deliberately in a way which might seem wrong. It's because we had a maturity in the nuance, even at such a young age from Sheena Ringo, of how to not push the boat too far with things being sort of like chaotic to the point of being ridiculous. We never had that. And with the charisma and the personality put forward by Sheena, and with everything else, including the drums, guitar, and bass, and all the other parts catching up with her, it's just, it's sensational. Yeah, thank you, Daewoo. Kameda Seiji, born SIG 1964, is a Japanese music producer, arranger, and bass guitarist. Fantastic. Thank you, Daewoo. And Blue Dinner Box says her music is probably not suitable for everyone, but at least I enjoy it. Some of them. And that's okay. I can guarantee there are songs here which will just be too alien to some people. But I think that's the joy of it. The joy is that she has that freedom to be herself. And along with Seiji Kameda, they I just think they nailed it. There's enough in here for everyone. There are English parts as well as Japanese parts, which help me to understand it. I think that was a deliberate thing to get to a wider audience. It was very smart. We have people who are very business and industry savvy, as well as competent musicians. At 2 to 2.5 to 4 minutes, they're in that sweet spot of that 2 to 4 minutes that even tracks nowadays that especially need to fit into, but it was a lot more kind of laid back then, and they still paid attention to keeping those tracks short in terms of radio play or anything else. There were lots of solo sections on various sort of organs or key parts or guitars or whatever. The violins had parts. There were different lead instruments. Nothing felt overplayed. Wonderful variety in the textures, going from sort of like traditional triads to chord harmonies. Interesting sort of chromatic scalings there. The bass guitars with those octave palm muted sort of like parts were going between the slap bass and all that, and you're having some bass solos even going up to like the 19 and 20 frets. It's just, dude, it's incredible. And the drums, man, they got all their fundamentals down. The 101 of the four main rhythms, the quarters, the eighths, triplets, and the 16ths, plus the different normal halftime grooves. There was just so much. I think you need to just listen to this album on your own to really appreciate the work that went in here instrumentally. Everything else was highlighting the main core components. The production, recording, mixing, and mastering was absolutely flawless. I have no complaints about it whatsoever. I think if anything did sound rough, it was on purpose, to make it seem more aggressive or harsh. And that's the advanced, that's the master level of that kind of stuff. I don't think they did a single thing wrong there. The vocals and all the other instruments were recorded really, really well and phenomenally filtered and EQ'd. It was nice and wide in the stereo field. There was like breathing and little sort of shimmers of stuff. The automation and panning there as well was great. Things moving around the stereo field there. Yeah, no weird resonances in the frequency spectrum. Nicely compressed. Some were verging on being over compressed for my tastes. Like I thought there was a little bit too much compression, that there wasn't enough dynamic range. But then they'd come back down and pull you out of that sort of like falsehood and be like, oh no, there is. It's just everything's loud until it comes down, and that's on purpose. And it's nice and loud without pumping. Shredders, thank you very much for coming along to this live stream, this album review of Sheena Ringo's Musai Moratorium. I had a great time with this album. I'm glad to understand Sheena Ringo now a lot better. And hopefully, if you're not as familiar with your work, hopefully you enjoyed her stuff too. And if you are familiar, hopefully this review was to your tastes and maybe even learned something new. I'm not sure. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, of course, please do go check out, I should make myself big for this one. Please do go check out Sheena Ringo's various social medias and a Spotify page, and stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on. Next week is going to be us reviewing music reaction videos. So if you want to come along to just a fun live stream, we're going to be checking out reaction videos and kind of grading them and stuff like that. That should be good. We'll be using YouTube videos for that. We'll be trialing using the YouTube system and seeing how the copyright system works. And I'll catch you in next live stream, though. Have a fantastic weekend. And yeah, Spider Hands out. 3, 2,